this is what I want them to hear. This is powerful. They follow a God. We can't do our conference because people are dying. So that means people are dying on God's watch. So, why should I believe in him? When is God going to save our people? See, I can't be believing in no crazy shit like that because they've been selling this to us for years. So, they made me atheist. Hebrew Israelites made me atheist. Christians made me an atheist. Muslims made me an atheist because they sold me on a half-truth. That's what they did. They sold me on a half-truth. And the more they perpetuate this half-truth, the more unconvincing the story becomes. So there's an all-knowing God who, for whatever reason, hasn't decided, after the 1200 years from the trans-Saharan slave trade, after the 400 plus years of the European enslavement, near 2 millenniums we had to undergo incapacitated, and still they believe in this God. And for some reason they make excuses for why God suggests to us that we must endure during these hard times that they profess that we're living in to this day. Why do you or anyone else believe in God at this point? It's a lie. It's obviously a lie. Unless you're telling me someone who cared that much about my race doesn't think 1600 years is enough of oppression. What, we got to do 1 more year? 10 more years? How much more years do we have to go with this all-knowing God who made us his chosen children of Israel, and all we have to do is believe in him or believe in Yahweh, bin Yahushua, or believe in Christ? How many more years do we got to believe in this nigga before we see some fucking results? See, that's why I'm an atheist. I have to be then. It's someone who doesn't believe in God or gods. You say anything outside of that, I want to see the definition so I can be clear to stand on it. But I have to be an atheist at this particular point because God has not delivered. And if I told you that you can come to my school, and when you come to my school, what's going to happen is you can get a degree. And when you get that degree, you can get a job. And now what happens when you make the sacrifice and you stay in a school system for 4 to 7 years? You get your degree, you got your certification, but the only thing you can do is get a job at Kinko's printing paper. Do you now believe in the school system after that? No. Would anybody get mad at you for saying that they didn't deliver? No. They would say, I understand, brother. They promised you something in exchange. You wanted that which they promised you in return. But actually, after all the years you invested into school, your time, your energy, and your money, after you invested your time, energy, and money, you got nothing in exchange. And now no one's going to get mad at you because they'll say, you know what? They didn't deliver. So how come we can't do that with God? When they tell me about God, the only thing they can deliver is speculation. They can deliver me a heaven, but I don't know. No one's coming back from heaven attesting to this shit. But hey, albeit for me to be a pessimist, show me something that God has given us in return for the belief in him. Show me. You can't show me 10 people who want to believe that God is down with them, because 10 years from now when they feel the religion is faulty, they'll be in another religion. So let's be for real. Show me an absolute where we know once I start believing in God, because the same Negroes getting at me saying Polight don't believe in God, they are in different organizations, not the same organization. Why did they God do that? Well, how am I supposed to believe in God and the Negroes propagating knowledge about God can't even remain organized? How come they are in different factions trying to give you the impression that something good is going on, where if it was that good, they would be under the same umbrella. They would not be in different factions or different sects. If they was reading from a book other than the Bible, I wouldn't mind if they had different organizations. But if they're all reading the same book made by the man that made the sun, moon, and the stars, how can they impress upon my mind that I need to subscribe to that one God with the multiple factions? How does that make sense? All of them are actually atheists if you ask me. They can't possibly believe in God, because if they believed in God, they would be in one order, on one accord. If they believed in God, they'd be in under one umbrella in one organization. All of them are atheists. If anybody is more spiritual, it's everybody else who has come to the conclusion that God doesn't exist, because a big part of spirituality is common sense. And once you lose common sense, you lose sense of spirituality.